Welcome everyone. I'd like to advise that the meeting will be digitally recorded in accordance with our council policy to assist in the preparation of minutes and allow for live streaming of council meetings. A reminder to those in attendance to ensure the mobile phones are switched to silent throughout the meeting. The Circular Head Council acknowledges the North West Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the traditional custodians of the country in which we stand, meet and play. We recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay respects to elders, past, present and emerging. Attendance, I've got an apology from Councillor Flowers. Leave of absence approved but not needed. Both councillors are here. Ask you to be upstanding for prayers, please.
Let us take a moment to clear our minds and focus on achieving outcomes that serve the greater good of the whole community. May light illuminate all present and support everyone to bring their highest and best selves to the debate and the decisions made here tonight.
Thank you. Right, so we now move on to 2.1, confirmation of minutes. Do I have a mover and a seconder that the minutes of the meeting on Thursday, 25 September, be confirmed as a true record, please? Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Seconded, Councillor Collins. No debate. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Any declarations of interest? No. 4.1. There's a few meetings and bits and pieces there, and a couple that Annette done for me whilst I was away. Well, sorry, the Deputy Mayor done for me whilst I was away. Councillor Collins.
Through you, Mr Mayor. The Dismal Swamp Steering Committee, is there an update on that?
Paul or Deputy Mayor? Or?
Would you?
Go if you like.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, the Deputy Mayor and myself attended that meeting. There has been some progress in so much as the federal government identified, or in partnership with the various stakeholders, identified that actually some preliminary work needs to be undertaken to help position the site and the remediation of the site in readiness for a next phase tender process. Currently, the site doesn't necessarily have a brand or a purpose that can be easily articulated, and so that work has been now commissioned in order to complete that process and, in essence, make it a more attractive proposition for future developers.
Thank you.
Is there anything further, Deputy Mayor?
No, that's about it, I think.
Is the cost of doing that, is that going to come out of the original?
It is.
It will.
It is, yes.
No further questions?
Just on the refit.
Councillor Hine.
Sorry. The refit briefing. What was that about, and who attended that?
That was the CEO, General Manager and myself with the group going around, and there's a bit of talk about where community funds and things like that was around. We explained to them our position on where we think community funds sits, etc. Just a general discussion on Paul, was there anything else?
Yeah, sorry, forgive me, Mr. Mayor. I'll just see if I can expand on that a little bit further. Yes, that was to do with the emergency service.
Redford. Yeah, they came with a presentation about what they were thinking, and we turned the presentation into a chat.
Yeah.
Sorry? Yeah, that was on the way to Robbins Island. Have a look over there.
Yeah. Oh, yes, so, forgive me, yeah, it was all to do, it was all related to the Robbins Island development. We had hoped to actually, go out to site and do all the things alongside the minister, etc. But yeah, it was just a briefing on the current state.
Yep.
Thank you.
Councillor Popovsky?
What's the background information on the emergency service hub? Is there some proposals in the pipeline?
Yeah, potentially. Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. Potentially, quite an interesting proposal. What they've identified is that there's quite a dire need around the police station, in particular in Smithton. We know that the minister's got quite an appetite to explore a hub model for emergency services. Obviously, we've got a fairly new ambulance station already, so there's no suggestion that there would be anything around moving that. But there is a conversation around identifying appropriate sites to possibly put a new police station, new fire station, relook at SES's future requirements, and whether or not there's an opportunity for greater collaboration in terms of exercises and things like that. So yes, potentially, and it could be quite one of those great opportunities for our Smithton Town Centre plan as being quite an anchor project. So those conversations continue.
We own the land of SES?
Yes.
Yep.
Fair to say, just as from that, they're very early discussions.
Very early.
They just come to see, they've been to see all the bodies, and they come to give us an update on it, basically. So. No further? If I have a move and a second, that they be noted, please. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Second, Councillor Hine. No debate. Put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Some workshops there. Is there any comment or questions on any of those? I think we've all been involved. If not, could I have a move and a second, that they be noted, please. Thanks, Councillor Dabner. Second, Councillor Pilkington. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 5.0, public questions without, there's nothing else without notice. No. We'll keep moving. No planning authority. 7.1, there's a question from Councillor Flowers with a response, officer's response there. And a question from Councillor Hine with the officer's response. All good. Councillors' questions without notice. Councillor Collins.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to know where we're at with the list of procedures as far as obtaining a building permit and the order in which that is done, so that it takes the confusion out of it for the people obtaining the permit, as well as the structure that they have to follow. It seems to be a bit of a problem sometimes with some of the...
Before I go to Paul, we're in the process of arranging a couple more meetings about talking to the builders and their offset with that, so to develop that type of thing.
Yeah, and through you, Mr. Mayor, there are numerous areas across the organisation where greater transparency over the processes would be a benefit to those interacting with council services. And as staff will be aware, and as I've touched on very briefly beforehand, last week we launched our transformation programme, and a key part of that is our continuous improvement. And it's an opportunity for us to identify these areas of potential improvement that we can turn around quite easily. The planning team have been talked with, and it is in motion. But there are a couple of other things as well that we want to explore as part of a suite of different things.
Thank you.
Councillor Holliger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is to Mr. Brewer. Are you aware of what is happening with, or can you tell us what's happening with the seal when they're sealing roads? Have they taken the tar out of the seal and gone back to a water base to improve environmental attitudes to appease the left wing of the society?
Yeah, certainly through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, there certainly is a broad perception that the quality of bitumen has reduced over the last 20 or 30 years even. I'm under the understanding that the Australian standards require there to be no water in the bitumen we use for road construction in this country. There's a lack of research, I think, in this area, but it could quite easily be the quality of the source crude oil, or also the processing of that and the refining of that crude oil product that's resulting in the perceived reduction in quality.
Thank you, sir. The other question that I have is we've had a lot of complaints. It's been on social media about the start of the road out at Broadmeadows. There was a hole there that sort of you could have hit in and put a hat on a man and nobody would have known the man was there. My concern, and it's happened again now, you're starting to see a wave. Is there any truth or is there any concern that the ground is sinking because within 50 metres or not much more, there's an irrigation pump and creating a sinkhole in the road?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, certainly that could be the case. In this instance, I really don't know, but all I can say is we have actually seen similar situations occur before, where groundwater levels are reduced by the installation of a bore and it reduces support from the road pavement. So it's a possibility, but in that particular instance, I couldn't advise.
Any further questions? Thank you. We move on. No notice of motions. 9.1, financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, councillors, we have the financial report for the period ending 30th of September 2025. After the last couple of months' flurry of first homeowners grants, we have no new applications this month, leaving 10 in total for the third month of the year, which is pleasing. In terms of page 20, the comprehensive income statement, we have income, which is basically on year-to-date budget, which is great, and then we're slightly below our expense mark for the period as well, so looking at still at that loss of $1.5 million for the annual budget. In terms of the statement of financial position, we've got total equity of $319 million, which has jumped up a fair bit in the last 12 months, and that's due to the revaluation of our land under road assets as part of this last audit. In terms of the statement of cash flow, currently got cash at the end of the period, at the end of September, of $25.8 million. In terms of receivables, this is the month that we thought would be good comparison to find out how the rates are tracking because of the dates not due until the 1st of September this year. So we're currently at 36.58% uncollected compared to 44.07%. So be interesting to see how that goes again next month, because it's actually quite below what it was for the same time last year. Sundry debtors are only sitting at $245,000, which is pleasing, and the amount in 30 plus and 60 plus days has been dropping, which is good. Page 24, in terms of the bank reconciliation and cash at bank, we've got our term deposits and at call deposits there. They've dropped quite a bit in the last 12 months, going from sort of that late fours, mid fours, back down to mid threes now. At least there's one still there at 4, which is good. And we're still completing our 24-25 financial statements with the Tasmanian Audit Office. I keep on saying each week that hopefully they'll get signed off this week, and I'm hoping the same thing next week. So still doing a bit of work on that, Mr. Mayor. So I'll present September's reports for Council's consideration.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Popovski?
Have you any indication that on the percentage up or down on the rate discount, although we lowered it this year. Is there any comparison to other years?
Through you, Mr Mayor, from the looking at this figures, that's why it seems a huge difference. So we've actually collected more than what we did at the same time last year, which would indicate that the drop in the percentage hasn't made a difference to how people are paying. So I think we probably need to wait till next month to see what these figures actually come out, but it actually looks positive. So
More in money, more in percentage?
more in money received, yes. Yep. So less percentage outstanding.
Yep.
Yep.
Any further questions? If not, could I have a move and a second that they be adopted? Thanks, Councillor Collins, second the Deputy Mayor. No debate, I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 9.2, Cradle Waste Management FOGO Rollout Report. We'll go straight to Veronica.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, councillors, to commend the council and the staff and community on taking up the FOGO service across Smithton and Stanley. The purpose of the report today was just to outline where we're up to and some of the challenges that we had along the way. It didn't run as smooth as we hoped. You'd think, given all that we practice we did last year with the other councils, that would have been the case, but it wasn't. A bin rollout is quite a simple task, but a complicated lot of actions that need to make it come together. We worked with a number of the different council areas that's noted in the report, and also had involvement from Veolia and their subcontractor Maztec. We expect a level of chaos, and we had that experienced. And I have to say, though, in overall numbers and percentages, it wasn't anywhere near actually what normal can look like. It might have been confusing for some members of your community, I'm sure, but in a percentage of the total number of bins delivered, we had less than 2% that went the wrong way or weren't delivered to the right address. So that number is normally around the 5 to 6%, so it hasn't been a bad news story all the way around. We had a number of workshops and activities, meetings and such, to try and mitigate those incidents and issues, and where those issues did come into force, we actually had support from the Cradle Coast financially to resolve those matters, and from Veolia to get those bins out there. So we've documented what those issues were. My apologies, I've just noticed tonight that on page 33 the table there was incomplete, and if you've got a pen with you, you'll see that the overall amount of landfill dropped by 20% compared to this time, 21% by this time last year. The recycling was down overall from last year, but when I looked at the month-by-month reports from last year, September was a busy month in the community last year, so that was a bit of an outlier compared to other months. We collected 11 tonnes of FOGO, so that meant that just in that first collection, you have gone from a 10% diversion of material from landfill to a 15%. So we're off to the right start. We had a low rate of bins presented, less than 30% of people put their bins out who had them, but the fantastic news was that those people who put them out had an average of 22.5 kilos per bin, which in national figures, if you're getting between 16 and 18 kilos a bin, you're performing well. So people who use them properly and use them well. I also have to say your community is to be commended for a very low level of contamination to date. So we're hoping that that's off to a good start. And frankly, my experience is rural people know how to do this and get it. They've grown up with compost heaps and chooks and other things, so they don't tend to use them inappropriately. We have, in the lead up to the rollout, gone to a number of different activities, both community and school-based, and I've listed those in the report. And we had the pleasure of, Circular Head Garden Club and the Soroptimist hosted us in late August, and been to both the private and public schools in the area. So happy to take any questions, Mr Mayor. And if I may add a little advert at the end, is that possible?
Yes, we'll make it.
Please, if you could spread the word, the household hazardous waste collection is on again. This is a chance to clean out items up to 20 kilograms or 20 litres for free, and it goes to an industrial chemist who sorts it out and makes sure it's reprocessed into energy. That's late November, Friday the 28th of November from 9 to noon here in Smithton. And we're also doing a tyre roundup for households where they can bring, I think it's up to 6 tyres for free, to South Burnie, and that's the following day. And if people want to do their household chemical drop, they can actually do it in Burnie. You don't have to do it in your own community because it's a regional project. So if the day that we've allocated for you with the chemist doesn't work, please feel free to tell people to come along elsewhere.
Is that to be dropped at the standard area that people would normally drop off?
Yeah, only on the morning of the collection though, because we're not licensed with any of our sites to collect them earlier, and it's a hazard for the public and the operators if we do drop them early.
Councillor O'Leary.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I don't know about the time that they picked those photo bins up because we've been away and so I had no idea about that. What I do have a concern about is the recycling bin having to be ready there at between 7:15 and 7:30 in the morning for aged people. And if you take what the weather done last Friday morning, if you'd have had those bins out the night before, they're all over the street. Is there something that can be done to address that issue? Is there any need that that truck has to start at that time?
No, you are.
Thank you for the question. The practical answer is we can get some bin locks and try them, and you can put that on and it will hold the bin down on a windy day. They use them in different places around the country, and I know some Hobart councils use them, so I can get a price and get a selection and you can try that. If the bin, we prefer the bin to go out the night before, and if it does blow over, under the contract, the collection contractor Veolia is required to pick it up and scoop it up off the street, so that's not a council depot job. So the driver is responsible for that activity. Unfortunately, we can't start later because they have to do driver fatigue management, and because when they're collecting here, once the truck is full, it's going all the way back to Sprayton to be emptied and come back. So starting later isn't always easy because it's got to work in with when they can do the delivery and have that truck empty for the next day for where it needs to be. But we could get some bin locks, they're not particularly expensive. I'd be happy to trial them here because you've got a good sized community to work on them with.
Yes, I just think that's a great idea because it is a reasonably windy area, as we all know, and quite often there are problems throughout, particularly Stanley, but I know it had happened in Smithton as well, where quite a few bins are blown over and there's recycling or rubbish blown up the street.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move in a second that the report be noted, please. Councillor Collins, seconded. Councillor Hine. No debate. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you. 9.3, Building Climate Resilience on the Cradle Coast.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is just a noting paper. It's a piece of work that was undertaken by Cradle Coast Authority, and just to spotlight, it's all outlined in the report in any case, and for ease of reading, just cover off some points. It identifies some opportunities there in terms of urban greening and design, innovation in the circular economy, sustainable transport, community empowerment, celebrating achievements, and household support, which is something that's done quite extensively in the UK. As I say, this was a piece of work that is meant to inform future work undertaken by the CCA. I invite any questions.
Questions? No? If I could have a move and a second that we note the report, please. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Seconded. Councillor Dabner. No debate? Put the
Yes,
motion. Oh, sorry, Councillor Ollie, yes.
Mr Mayor, I can't sit here. My mate is away tonight. He would have been in full cry tonight. The reality, this is costing money. We're in a cost of living crisis. And you see these reports come up, and you can go back for the last 55 or 60 years. They've made all these sort of predictions, and there's not one of them has come to fruition. And in the 90s, it was laughable what they tried to put up, you know, with the cyber thing, that planes were going to fall out of skies and the world was coming to an end. Never happened. I'm still here. It is a waste of money, these sort of things. And you can say, well, you know, just noting a report, but we're paying for these reports. Share of what money we pay into the Cradle Code is paying for it, and I'm not going to support it.
Thanks, Councillor Oreca. Any other speakers? Note your comments, Councillor Oreca. Mine are completely different, so I don't need the same on the other side of the schedule. So I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
There's got two. Thank you. 9.4, meeting dates and times. Do you wish to speak to that? Or
Yes, just quite briefly, we're required to put forward our planned meeting dates for the next calendar year. It simply outlines the scheduled dates.
Any questions on them? Yes, Councillor Hunt.
One question through that identifies Australia Day as the 27th through workplace something. Is that just because it's a union public holiday, or is it?
Where are you? Sherry?
The
Sorry,
page, I
Mr
think.
Mayor, on page 68, the 27th. I gather the Australia Day probably falls on a weekend.
Yeah.
And that would be Monday, I gather.
Right. So you reckon it's a...
They're not changing Australia Day, Councillor
The
Hunt.
26th of Sunday, that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be the holiday, the public holiday.
Actually,
Thank you.
no,
No?
it's Monday.
On a Monday.
Yep, it's
It's on the moon.
it'd be the 26th.
Yeah, so thanks, Councillor Hunt.
Actually, it's
So
the 26th.
we'll correct that. Thanks, Councillor Hunt. Right.
Shows he's read the minutes.
He goes, he's a good man. Can I move in a second then that they be noted adopted?
So moved.
Thanks, Councillor Olega, second Councillor Poski. Put the motion, those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 9.5, adoption of circulated population strategy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everybody around this table has been involved in this extensive piece of work for quite some time now. You'll all be aware, obviously, but with the idea of the population strategy is aiming for a sustainable population growth to 10,000. We do have several challenges that we as a community face, and with this any population growth, we must also look at our enabling infrastructure, schools, community spaces, housing, etc. So this strategy outlines that, and the council table has been involved in it from the outset, as I say, and it's now been come to this final draft stage for formal adoption.
Questions? Any questions at all? Right, move in a second that they be adopted. Thanks, Councillor Dabman. A second, the Deputy Mayor. Wish to speak? Councillor, you've got Councillor Dabman.
I've got enough to say about all this. No, I'm fine.
Right. Then,
No, just
Councillor Foskey.
In supporting this recommendation, I'd like to note that that it's got to, this strategy has got to be married with the settlement strategy, because we're such a diverse economy. I think we've got time, or annually at least, review this population strategy. The thing that probably I see that could be discussed into the future is Circular is very diverse economy, and basically it's a price taker, not a price maker. So in this population strategy going forward, we've got opportunities that should allow us to increase our population if we're prepared to be innovative with what I call secondary industries or value-adding industries behind our natural attributes, as well as our industries. For example, we can value add dairy products, timber products. We get our timber products, we value added into making mobile homes, having 2 timber mills in the area. We could use the waste from spuds to make vodka if we all would like to do that. But there's opportunities. But I see opportunities for what I call secondary industries. But the main one I see, and I keep banging on about, is these secondary industries from our emerging renewable energy. We've got a wonderful opportunity to maintain our population after the initial construction, and that's my biggest concern. We just don't want to be a 5-year population in Dongas. We want to be a permanent regional hub for the northwest coast, and I see that's important, and that's why I ask that we review this every 12 months and with other strategies as well, so we're up to date. Why wouldn't you want to live in Circular with its natural environmental attributes? We can work remotely, we can use AI, we've got a wonderful communication system at optical fibre rates. So therefore, we've got a lot of opportunity. Once again, the review, when it comes up, must look at these things. So in supporting the recommendation, I'd just like to remind future councils there, we've got to grow the population, but we'll grow the initiatives to make that happen. Just don't sit with this in the bottom drawer. So I encourage the new councillors and the GM to drive this to the maximum so that we reach our goal of 10,000. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Poposky. Any other speakers? If not, put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 9.6, the adoption and phased implementation of the Smithton Town Centre Plan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Once again, there's been much debate around the table and much work done over a period of time on the town centre plan. I certainly took on board in my relatively short time with council the very varying views around the table on various aspects of the plan, and also in doing so balanced our financial position in order to meet some of the very aspirational goals laid out through the plan. In doing so, therefore, I asked that the plan be presented in such a way that was not only palatable in terms of our financial position, but also achievable in the short to medium term. The longer term a strategy exists for, the more unachievable certain aspects of it become, and it's very important to keep it front and centre of our minds, particularly when it's talking about something as significant for Smithton as this is. Hence why the phasing of this plan was very important. So the approach that was adopted was to break it down into 2 phases, and so what is asked of you all today is that, and what the recommendation states, is that the plan be adopted, but remembering that the plan is in essence a principles-based approach towards the Smithton town, and then in adopting only the first phase, you're adopting an implementation plan that isn't too much of a longer term focus, isn't based on purely aspiration, but is actually achievable in the shorter term. And reminding councillors also that year on year, the objectives of this plan alongside all of our plans and strategies will always be considered in our annual planning and our long-term financial planning. So there would never be a time when we wouldn't revisit it annually and look to reprioritise and bring forward initiatives as you chose to do so. And on that basis, it's presented for your consideration.
Thank you. Questions? Councillor Hine?
I'd like to move that we adopt the draft of the Smithton Town Centre, so include that word draft in there, because that's point one. Point two.
So, Councillor Hine, so you're actually working on some amendments here. Is that what's happening here?
I'm suggesting an amendment or add the word draft in there, because as the GM has said, we're at some stage again we'll go back and consider our budgetary consideration.
But hang on, we're not debating it, so where am I at your help, please, people?
Top line.
Do we need to move an emotion and then we can come in?
No.
No? Thanks, Councillor Holdacre, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillor Hine is moving, because nobody has moved the motion or second, the recommendation as a stand. What Councillor Hine has just done is to add a word in the recommendation.
Into the original motion.
Into the original motion.
Right.
He's quite allowed to do that.
Yep.
And he wants to do one in point two, as I understand.
Right, so where do you want to put that word, Councillor? Thanks, Councillor Holdacre. Where do you want to put that word?
That word, adopt the draft of the Smithton Town Centre.
Put the word draft in point one.
Yep.
And you'll move the motion with that in it?
I'll move the motion with that in it, with the rider that I'd like to just reword point two as well.
Well, do you want to do that now as well? And then
Right.
it could be, then we can debate it?
Thank you.
Or if you get a second, we can debate it?
Righto, yep.
But he needs to get that in there before you get a second.
Yes, in point two, what do you want to add in there?
Yep, just consider the adoption of phase one of the implementation of the town centre plan with our annual budget, within our annual budget planning process. So that sort of defines that.
There are, yeah, we've got what you want. When you get a second, you get. Is there a second? You got that, mate? Yep. Is there a seconder to that amended motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Holdacre. Now, Councillor Hine, you may speak.
Thank you. I just think it clarifies it and it doesn't lock it in to what's actually in the phase one. We can go back and review it. I think there's quite a lot of stuff in there that it was within that plan, that likes of fully grown trees down Smith Street, and as part of the plan, and there's been no research whatsoever that I can glean for what the infrastructure is underneath and all that, and so it could well be a better option to look at doing what you're suggesting there, down a centre way through the town itself, where there's very little, probably minimal infrastructure underneath, and you might be able to get a better, more stable, less costly, better outcome of it all.
Thanks, Councillor Hine. Councillor Holdacre? No. Any other speakers? Councillor Pilkington?
Well, I support the intention of what Councillor Hine is trying to do. I'll probably move an amendment if it's passed that I think is clearer.
Right. I won't be... Councillor Holdacre?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. If Councillor Pilkington wants to move an amendment to this motion, he can't let this motion go to the vote, because your amendment will become nothing. You can't put it up after the vote is taken. You have to move, if you're going to move an amendment, you have to move it now.
All right.
Yep. And then if this amendment fails, we'll go back to the original one. But the amendment needs to come forward. So did you wish to do so, or?
Yeah.
Now, we've got an amendment on an amendment. Matt, is that the one?
No, you have to... It's an amendment on the modified recommendation.
Right,
That's
okay.
correct.
Thank you, thank you.
It's confusing.
It's not.
Point 1, I move that the town centre plan be adopted as a reference document for the future development of this area, that the council will develop a phase 1 plan for the town centre, and 3, that point 3 remains unchanged, which I fully...
Right, is there a seconder to that?
I'll second it for the debate.
Thanks, councillor Oldacre. Now, councillor Bilkin, you may put your case on.
Right, well, I listened to the General Manager and I fully agree with what he's saying, but I think the town, if we adopt the town centre plan as it is in the original amendment, in the original motion, we're tying ourselves to what the town centre plan does. This makes it more flexible for us to act on this plan, the open spaces strategy that Tony was talking about with the green spine going through town. There's a whole lot of things in the town centre plan that are impractical in the short term and probably in the long term. There is a lot of good things in the town centre plan, and I think if we use it as a reference document when we are developing plans, that's ideal. But I think this lays out, in my mind, the way we should handle the town centre plan.
Thanks, councillor Bilkin. Councillor Oldacre?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I know that it's only a slight difference here in words, and sometimes words can mean a whole lot of things. But I second this motion because I think the wording of this amendment is better than the original recommendation that was put forward.
Okay. Any further speakers? I won't be supporting the amendment, and I thank councillor Bilkin for circulating his intentions there to give everyone an opportunity to think through it. So I thank you, councillor Pilkington, on that. I'm happy with the way it is because it will be, as the General Manager CEO has pointed out, a annual planning thing, budgeting thing as we go through, so we get a chance to review at that point in time as we go forward. So I won't be supporting the amendments, but the rest has got the opportunity to. So I'll put the Councillor Pilkington's amendment. We'll put that one first.
I've got to rewrite.
Oh, you have, because I've spoken against it. You've got the right to reply. Yes.
I think the Mayor has just spoken in favour of what I'm saying, because we're going to change. We're going to be flexible the way we deal with this, but in the original motion we're saying we're not. So I think you've spoken in favour of what I'm saying, and the councillor should consider that, because, as Councillor Oldacre says, it's a matter of words, but it's a matter of words that gives us flexibility to act upon the reports we have in front of us.
Thanks, Councillor Pilkington. I wish I could reply, but I'm not allowed. I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Those against?
Aye.
So Councillor Pilkington's amendment failed. We'll go to Councillor Hines' adjusted motion. Now you've spoken for it. Is any other want to revisit any other speakers for or against Councillor Hines' adjusted motion? I'll put that motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Those against? Aye. Right, we'll go back to the original recommendation. How you going there, Matt?
I'll get there.
Councillor Oldacre?
Mr Mayor, you allowed in the first place,
Having a good time.
you allowed in the first place, sir, the recommendation, the wording to be altered. So that is the original motion. That you cannot now go back to the original because you allowed that to happen the first time. And then the amendment was moved, the amendment was lost, it was right there, right? You go back to Councillor Hines' motion, which is the recommendation that's before it, because nobody else had put anything on the table.
Yep.
So we've lost.
So that's lost, so it's lost.
So, motion is lost as it sits there. Does the original, Councillor Hines' motion, those who in favour, please put your hand up so back gets them. And the rest are against. I'm against under the thought that we could have another go. I'm sorry, Councillor, for misleading you there. If I did. There's not much we can do about that now, is there?
I'm totally confused by the whole thing.
Bear with me a minute.
Yep.
Procedural motion. It is, never mind.
I was under the impression we could go back to that.
It's lost because nobody moved and seconded the original motion.
So it hasn't changed.
So yours was the original.
So I should have
motion.
went down the path of getting a move
Move
and
and second.
What you've accepted my
Yeah,
wording in the original.
I should have pushed through with getting a move and a second and then let amendments come through.
For you, Mr Mayor, the precision, the only way of doing this is for it to be brought back to council next month to seek a reversal of the vote and then to re-vote.
Yep.
Well, then, so you would need to move some sort of procedural that happen, would you not?
No, because you move the motion back to reverse the motion. So that'll be a separate one in next month's agenda.
That's right.
So it just delays the situation.
And it can't be done in the same meeting, so.
Yep.
No, it's
All right, move on. I apologise for, I was under the impression that we could go back. I was wrong.
Don't assume anything, sir.
Apparently not. But next time I will take the motion before we change the word. Well, we got senior management report.
Give me, I'm just. Apologies, Mr Mayor.
You're
Bear
right,
with me.
no problem at all. We just had a confusing little burst.
Page 189, we're on.
Yeah, thank you.
189.
Yeah, I'm just,
Can be
my computer's going a bit clunky. Stop sticking on me.
Yeah.
Right, apologies for that. I'll take the report as read, councillors. As per usual, it outlines the various meetings that I've had during the course of the month, some of which mirror that of the mayor. It also outlines the community small grants that were given out, and I'd just like to spotlight particularly once again the Charts Festival came to a close, another amazing successful year, rounded out by the Gregorian Brothers performing at Stanley Town Hall. I didn't have the opportunity to go myself, but my wife spoke incredibly highly of it, and she was enthralled to be there. Yes, I don't think there's anything to talk to further. I just invite any questions that you may have.
Any questions? If not, I move in a second that the senior management report be accepted. Thanks, Councillor Collins. Second, Councillor Hine. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 9.8. Some minutes from Stanley Town Hall, the Stanley Town Hall AGM and SWAL August briefing. Any questions or comments on any of those? If not, I would have a move and a second that they be adopted or noted, please. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Second, Councillor Dabner. No debate. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? carried. Now I need a move and a second that we resolve by absolute majority to consider the matters listed below in the closed meeting. Move on a second, Councillor Debner, second, Councillor Oldacre. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. And I need another same motion by absolute majority that we go into a closed meeting. Councillor Hine, Councillor Oldacre. Put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried.
Mr. If,
Oh, wait, they're still going. Thank you.
There was that, was the bloke who sat in on the meeting.
Wait till we do that. Stand up.